Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna look at a Ram and a Chevy work truck today. Now I'm gonna just show you the advantages of both truck, and then you can decide at the end of the video which one you think is better. And be sure to give Criswell a look up. Special shout out to them. They have these two trucks and it's really hard to find these at the same time because they don't really last that long. So if you are in the market, be sure to let them know you saw this video if you do purchase from them. Really quickly, be sure to subscribe to JB Reviews and make sure you have those bell notifications on. And be sure to check out my other channel, Attainable Exotic Cars. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, so let's start off talking about base price. So this is going to be an LT Chevy Silverado. So this is kind of apples to apples, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like the interior in this Tradesman does compete well with it. But as far as the base price goes, the Chevy is a little bit more expensive at $36,995. That is including destination. Now the Ram starts off at $35,425, but here's the odd thing. The Chevy does not come with power windows and power door locks standard. Now the Ram does not come with power door locks, but it does come standard with power windows, auto down on the front. So I feel like that's a pretty big advantage in my opinion. I feel like having a higher price point, you should have a little bit more standard, but that is one thing I will say that the advantage does go to the Ram. It's the lower price and you get a few more things standard. If you have a lot of money and you want to go crazy on these work trucks, you can get LED headlights with the Ram. I'll show it to you here in the video. It's not cheap. You typically have to upgrade a package in order to get them. You cannot get them on the Tradesman, so you would have to step into a Bighorn, so you have to spend that amount of money for that extra package, and you have to probably get like a Tradesman level 1 or level B. And then the lights are pretty expensive, so I think the level B package is like $4,600. Now you cannot get LED headlights with this work truck. However, you can get LED fog lights with the Silverado. Now here's where I think that Chevy does have an advantage over the Ram, and I think it's really the fact that it has an LT trim package, and there's just a few more features in there that come available or standard over the Ram. And I think that the interior is slightly nicer. Now if you do want a higher trim level in the Ram, you can only get up to a Bighorn, but I think that the interior design is a little bit better on this LT, and I'm going to show it to you here in a second. Now as far as your engine selections go, you do have two for the Ram. You're going to have this HEMI and you're going to have a Cummins. Now the Cummins is going to be made to a 6-speed. This 6.4 HEMI is made to an 8-speed transmission, and that is an advantage over the Chevy. Now one advantage that the Chevy has is you have 3 engine selections for this truck. Now obviously you have this 6.6 gas, you have a 6.6 Duramax, that's going to be good for 445 horsepower, 910 pound-feet of torque. But the advantage that this truck has is that it has a PTO availability without it being a cabin chassis. You cannot get PTO with the Ram that's not a cabin chassis, so that is an advantage. Now that PTO is only available for the Duramax engine, so I feel like it's a good advantage that GM has. Now one advantage that the Ram has with the 6.4 HEMI is this does take 7 quarts of oil. Now the GM truck, it takes 8 quarts of oil, so you're going to have a little bit of savings with the Ram. As far as the fuel filters go, I'm not sure the price on those, but like I said, I think that's a pretty good advantage to have one less quart of oil to put in the truck compared to the Chevy. One advantage that Ram did in 2019 was they did add an aluminum hood to the Ram trucks. So this hood is definitely a lot lighter in comparison with the Chevy hood. Now as far as styling goes, like I said, this is very subjective. It depends on what you're really after. I'm not going to really make a decision there. I do like the fact though that you do have a nicer style wheel available. And while we're on that note, the Chevy does have a Alaskan package where it has kind of like a graphite color wheel, 18-inch. And with the Ram, this is the nicest wheel you can get with the Tradesman. And if you were to move it to a Bighorn, you can get a sport appearance package, which would upgrade the wheels. But I think that Chevy has it beat though on that regard. Now let's talk a little bit about dimensions. Now as far as the wheelbase goes for the Chevy truck, it is going to be 144.55, and that's going to be in inches. The Ram's going to be 140 inches even. As far as ground clearance goes, the Ram has 13 inches of ground clearance, and the Chevy Silverado is going to have 10.19 inches ground clearance. And as far as width goes, the Chevy is going to have 81.75 inches of width. The Ram's going to have 83.5 inches of width. So, I mean, they're pretty similar there. I mean, the Ram is actually a little bit wider. You can't really tell, you know, looking at it, but it could just be because of the mirrors too. Where the GM truck shines over the Ram is interior space. Now, as far as your headroom goes with the Chevy truck, you do have 43.11 inches of headroom, and as far as legroom goes, 44.53. So I think that this truck, I mean, it does feel bigger inside compared to the Ram. Now let's go over here and check out the size of that cab. Headroom in the Ram is going to be 39.8 inches, and as far as your legroom down below, you're going to have 40.9 inches. So like I said, it's a little bit smaller, and you can clearly tell just by looking in this cab that the Ram is slightly smaller than the Chevy truck. Not by much, but enough to be noticeable for me at least. Now here's where Chevy's going to shine. The Chevy does have a 36-gallon fuel tank standard. Now if we walk over to the Ram, you do have a 32-gallon tank. They do give you a cap. Haven't seen this in a while, but they give you a cap. And I think that, you know, for this size truck, I mean, 32 gallons is enough, especially if you're just kind of like, you know, hauling stuff. But who wouldn't want to have an additional 4 gallons of fuel? To, you know, that could take you another 15 times 4. That's 60 more miles to a tank. Now, if you've never owned a Ram with the 5-link coil suspension, you're probably going to think right out of the gate that this leaf spring setup on the GM truck is better. And I think that's subjective too. I think that you kind of have to compare them apples to apples, driving back to back with a trailer behind them to really get a good comparison for that. But where I think Ram has the advantage is that you can get air suspension from the factory. So I think that that's a good system. It's covered under the warranty. So if you get an extended warranty like the remote part, it would also be covered with that warranty too. So if you get something aftermarket, obviously it's not covered under the factory warranty, and it's just something extra you have to do after the fact. So I think that even though a lot of people probably wouldn't like this suspension, I think that this is a better purchase, especially if you get the air. A couple advantages for the Chevy truck. Now, they do allow you to get the multi-flex tailgate on the work truck, and they also have these steps that come standard on all their trucks on the back of the bed and on the side of the bed. Now, as far as Ram goes, you can't get a step standard. You can get available step that pops out, but that's pretty much it. And you cannot get the multi-flex tailgate on the Ram. Now, in the work truck Silverado and the Tradesman Ram, you can get blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, forward collision warning, all those safety features on both of these trucks as an option. And I thought that was pretty cool, even for the lower trim levels. You can get a sliding glass for the Ram that is not available for the regular cab Chevy Silverado. And one last advantage that the Ram has is you can get a 410 axle out back. That's going to increase your towing capacity, and it's going to increase your torque going up grades. So I think that when GM came out with this truck, they did not offer any other axle ratios, but on the 6.0 Silverados, the ones that had that older gas engine, it did come standard with the 410. So if you don't need the towing but you need the MPGs, Ram gives you that option. Or if you need the towing power, they give you the option too. So I think that the clear winner there is going to be for the Ram. As I mentioned earlier in the video, power windows do come standard on Rams, and this would be an option for power door locks. But when you step inside, you do have a screen here. You have the availability to get a color screen or a 7-inch cluster. You can get an 8.4-inch display. I believe this is a 3.5 or 5-inch. I'll be sure to show it to you here in the video. But you can get navigation with the 8.4. And you can see below, you do have 4 USBs standard with this trim package too. And overall, I don't know why, but I like the vinyl seats a lot better than the cloth seats. It has a two-tone appearance to it. This is a vinyl steering wheel vinyl flooring, and overall I think that the cab design is a little bit nicer. Now when you go see the Chevy, it is a slightly higher trim package, but I think I still like the Chevy better, even if it was probably a work truck too. Let's go take a look at it real quickly. You do have a smart key system available for the Chevy truck, so if you push the button, it'll unlock it for you and lock it. Now on the work truck, you have something similar to this. However, you don't have this nice trim piece with this aluminum look around it. This does have a power seat because this is an LT model, and I think that the interior works a little bit better. You do have the optional auxiliary switches. Both trucks do come available with that, and I think that this interior just feels a little bit more at home than in the Ram. I feel like although this is a higher trim level, the Bighorn kind of really mimics that same look for the interior, and I think that this trim is just really nice in comparison with the Ram. I mean, you do have a large display here. As I mentioned, power windows and power door locks is an option, but on the LT it would come standard. So I'll show you guys the window stickers, that way you can compare. You do have only 2 USBs. I didn't show it to you, but the Ram had an additional USB inside the center console here. But I think this is a really nice appointed interior. They give you LED lights. You do have covered storage here. You would have to step up to a Bighorn in order to get that covered for the Ram. I think that this interior really does kind of outshine the Bighorn and the Tradesman. Obviously, heated seats are available for both trucks as well. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think, which one you like better. I think I like the Chevy interior better over the work truck Ram. One last thing I want to point out is push button start is only available on the LT, but if you get a work truck it would not be available. As far as the prices go, this Chevy Silverado is $46,875, and it has $2,980 in options.
The window sticker wasn't in the Ram, so I want to go ahead and pull it up for you guys online. So here's the MSRP for that Ram that we just tested. It was $44,470, and it basically has $4,450 in optional equipment. And here's a better look at it. Be sure to pause if you want to see more.
Your gross axle weight rating on this Ram up front is going to be 5,500 pounds. The rear is going to be 6,390. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 10,000 pounds. And all in, I mean, this truck has a nice payload capacity, 3,546 pounds. That's pretty big, really big actually. Most of my original subscribers already know where this video is going. So as far as the GM truck goes, you do have a gross axle weight rating up front at 5,600 pounds, so slightly more than the Ram. The rear is the same, 6,390, 10,000 pound GVWR. Now, I love what GM does, huge advantage over the Ram. They give you all your towing information right here. Be sure to pause it. But as you guys can see, the payload is 3,491 pounds, so the Ram actually has a beat. However, GM gives you 3 options for your gross vehicle weight rating. So if you want a 10,000 pound GVWR, which this truck has, it's called a downgrade for the GVWR, or it comes standard with a 10,250, and I think the next one is 10,400. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that basically gives you more payload than the Ram all day long. And I think that I wish Ram would do that, but they're not doing it right now. So that advantage definitely goes to Chevy. And honestly, that would probably be a big deciding factor for me, because you buy these types of trucks for payload anyways. So I'm glad that GM decided to do that, and I think that they're the leader right now, even over Ford too. But hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Since you stayed to the end, check this out. So, Firestone Transforce AT, Firestone Transforce AT. Now, I like the fact that the Chevy tires don't have the white lettering. In the comment section, who likes the white lettering, or who likes just the cleaner look?
These are 265 70 17s, and these are going to be 275 70 18s. See you guys soon.